Hello and welcome back. I have with me a Marlin model 1895 chambered in 4570. I'll show you a few things I've done to it, and the main point of this video is going to be how to take it apart for cleaning. A lot of people don't know how to clean a lever action rifle properly. This gun's really awesome. I mean, it is an exact copy of the way they used to make them, which is your ammo has to go in through the loading gate. You can't take the end of this tube off to load it. It is tube fed, tubular magazine. Here's the end of the tube here. It only holds 4 rounds, but it holds 4 gigantic rounds of 4570. It will handle standard pressure 4570, not just the low pressure stuff that is for antique firearms. It does have a safety that blocks the hammer. This is safe. This is fire. I never engage the safety, and the reason I never engage the safety is because it has a half cock notch, and so if I have the hammer all the way down and I pull it back to a half cock, the gun can't go off, and it's a really safe way to carry one of these. This is my hunting rifle. I used to hunt with a 30-06. It's a Savage, and my wife decided that she wanted that gun for deer hunting, so this became, and I've always wanted a lever action rifle, and you know, I had a choice really between a handgun cartridge like 357 Magnum, 4570, or 30-30, and I chose to go big because, well, go big or go home. So what have I done to it? First thing I'm going to show you is I've actually driven out the rear sight. If you look, oh, wrong way, let me go this way. If you look right here where my thumb is, okay, you'll see the dovetail where the rear sight used to be. I drove the rear sight out because I wanted a scope on this thing. I got a good deal on a Vortex Diamondback, and so I put a Vortex Diamondback. This is the Diamondback that has the adjustable objective, and people who don't think a lever action is accurate, this thing will put 3 holes touching at 100 yards. Three bullets, the holes will be touching at 100 yards. With the Hornady Lever Evolution ammo, and one of these days I'll show a picture of a target. The last time I went shooting with it, my teammate, as I like to call him, threw away my target, so I couldn't show that to you today. But anyway, it does have the adjustable objective, but I had to drive the rear sight out because this is so close to the barrel. And anytime you're mounting a scope, the closer to the barrel it is, the better. And so for me, I don't have a qualm about that because I'm able to get this scope a lot closer to the barrel by driving that rear sight out. So anyway, I did that. I did add a hammer extension. So if you look at this guy here, it's got an extender on the hammer. The hammer is normally just here, and it's very hard to get to with a scope. And so this hammer extension makes it very easy to reach up with a thumb and pull that hammer back when you're ready to fire. And if you're ever thinking of hunting with a lever action gun, one of the cool things about it is I leave it on half cock. And then that way it can't go off accidentally. When I see a deer, what I do is I grab the hammer with my thumb and I pull it back slightly. And then I press the trigger. I pull the hammer all the way back and then I let go of the trigger. And what that does is it allows me to cock the gun with a deer in range without making that telltale click. Okay? But at the same time, it keeps the gun very, very safe. At half cock, you can drop this gun and it's not going to go off. Okay? There's no way. So it's really great. And then instead of doing that here in the click, you can actually just, like I said, ease it back, let go, and no click. So I added that. I did add a limb saver recoil pad. This gun kicks quite a lot. It's very light. Even with this big scope on it, it's very light. And 325 grain bullet kicks pretty hard. It will leave a bruise on you if you shoot it a lot in a day. And I do like shooting it. That's one of my favorite things is to shoot this gun. So I put this on here really just because it does make it more comfortable to shoot. And that's about all I've done. At some point I may take the hood off the front sight since I'm not using it. But we'll see. I haven't made that decision yet. But anyway, so on to how to take this thing apart. So I'm going to lay this thing down. I'm going to adjust my camera angle just a little bit. And you can see all my cleaning supplies back here. This is my madness when it comes to cleaning. And so, so you need a flathead screwdriver. That's all you need. And you're going to find a screw right here at the top of your lever. And the easy way to do this is to open your lever up part way. Whatever, about right there, okay? And you're going to take this screw out. And make sure you get a screwdriver that fits this slot well so you don't mess up your screw. And so you're going to take your screw out, okay? And lay that to the side. And then your lever should, and I stress should, pull right out, okay? That's what your lever looks like. It's got this nice, wonderful, funky shape milled into it. But that's what your lever looks like, okay? Ta-da! And you pull that out. You just pull it straight out. And then you're going to push your bolt. I just come from right there and push the bolt out, okay? It's that easy, okay? Out comes your bolt for cleaning, okay? So that's number 2. And what's funny is they've actually marked the bolt 4570, so you can't confuse it with a 3030 bolt, okay? So anyway, so that's that, number 2, okay? Here's your extractor. If you want to clean under your extractor, change your extractor, whatever. This literally just clips around this bolt with spring tension. And so if your extractor ever breaks, you can just pop this circular spring. You see how it wraps around the bolt? You can just pop this off, pop a new one on. It's really simple to work on. Okay, so that's number 2. So then the last thing you got to do is you got to fish in here. And I'm going to angle this gun up so you can see it, hopefully. And I say hopefully. It is very, very hard to see because it's all black on black. But in here, you're going to see a little piece. Let me point to it right here that's sticking up. Okay, I don't know if you can even see that, but it's sticking up. And that is your ejector. And you're going to pull it up and pull it out. Okay, here's your ejector. That's all it is. And a lot of people will not pull this out and they go running a cleaning rod through here and they break it because it's pretty fragile. So you pull that out for cleaning. Okay, and then you'll go through your normal cleaning procedure. You'll run your brushes, you'll run your patches, you'll do whatever you normally do. Make sure you clean this chamber area really well. You'll get some powder residue and stuff in there. Your extractor has this little peg on it. You see this little peg right here. That peg goes into a hole in the frame. And as a matter of fact, if I hold the gun up, you can actually see the hole right here. Okay, it's an open hole. If I shine a flashlight there, you'd actually see light coming through. But this hole right here is where the extractor goes. This hole right here is where the extractor goes. And so you'll put this, when you go to put this thing back in, and there's a groove. It has to lay in the groove, and it lays, people try to put it in backwards. They want to put it in with this piece here down. This piece here down. That's not correct. This piece has to be down because it fills that hole in the frame. This thin springy piece is down and the meatier piece is actually sticking up. Okay, so you'll put that into that groove and you'll slide it until it engages that hole. You might have heard it click on the camera there. And it's in, and then you'll put your bolt back in. The extractor, okay, this little claw here, this extractor faces out. Okay, and the 4570 faces down, so you really can't mess that up either. But anyway, it is kind of hard to get this over the hammer. That tends to be the real issue. My advice is usually hold the hammer down with a thumb while you're putting this back in, and it magically just goes right in, right over the extractor. And then you're going to stop somewhere partially open, okay, a third to a half the way open. And then you're going to put your lever back in. And the fun part with your lever, of course, is getting this thing to line up. Good luck. That's all I can tell you. It takes some time. I got lucky. It just lined up. Okay? And you'll know it's lined up because it's going to line up with that screw hole. And you'll put the screw back in. So let me put the screw back in before I mess this up. And it is a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle to get everything lined up. But you'll get your screw in. And you'll tighten it down, and then voila, you have a functioning lever action again. Okay, the lever will only go in one place, and so you kind of have to play with that angle based on where your bolt is. Okay, it will only go in one place. There is no, you can't put that on wrong, if that makes any sense at all. You cannot put it on wrong. And always, when you clean a gun, when you take a gun apart, check for function. You know, of course, you got to make sure it's unloaded. Make sure you have no ammo in the area. But always, does it cycle correctly? Does it fire? Right? Make sure, because if you don't catch it now and you go months without shooting this gun, you're not going to find out. And that's how you take lever action apart. You get this bolt out of the way so that you can get a brush up here and clean the barrel properly from the breech. Okay? So anyway, it's a great little gun. It does a whole lot of damage on large game. You could hunt moose, bear, whitetail, mule deer, elk, any game animals in North America, large game animals. This will do the trick and then some. So anyway, if you have questions, let me know and I'll be glad to answer them. Leave them in the comments. Thanks.